Welcome to The Remix, the video podcast that keeps you in the mix of everything real estate. I'm Noelle Freisen.
And I'm Eric Anderson, and today we're going to be talking about how to take advantage of an emerging market.
Today we have with us Markis Abraham, who's the Vice President of Sales at Alexander Anderson Real Estate Group for Hudson County, where Jersey City is.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Markis. We're very excited to have you
As
today.
always,
Yes. Oh, who's that across from me?
we have Nima Ameri, Ameri Law Firm, our legal eagle. So I'm sure Nima's going to have a lot to say about growth in emerging markets, right?
No, I don't believe in emerging markets. I like subdued markets
That don't make anyone any money.
That's why you're here in Hackensack.
and I strongly recommend nobody watching this invest in emerging markets. They just go to markets that we're not in.
I totally disagree with that.
Eric likes to promote competition for him.
Absolutely. Competition is great. It makes things fair. It makes things more interesting.
All things that I have no interest in.
Markis, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you for having me. I made the big show finally, so I'm extremely happy to be here. I actually am a Jersey City native.
Okay.
Grew up in Jersey City, went to high school there, and after college came back and lived there for many years. Just started out as an attorney and decided to pursue my real passion, which is in real estate. I've been working with Alexander Anderson now for about 5 years. Great company, which I'll tell you guys all about. When I was an attorney, I did a lot of development work. And I just love real estate sales and the process of competing, like Eric says.
Yes, it's all about competing.
Absolutely.
We love competing. We love winning, too.
100%.
So just to put this into perspective for everyone out there, Jersey City is like a Buffalo or a Pittsburgh or a Gary, Indiana, Dover, Delaware. So you can take the lessons that you're going to learn. I Googled it. I don't know if
No, it's exactly
Nima
the
seems,
same.
No,
Yeah.
almost exactly.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's demographic. Everything is the same as East Bumblefuck, West Bumblefuck, and like
The lessons, guys, that you're going to take
North
from this
Bumblefuck.
today are what you need to be doing investment-wise, real estate-wise in these growth markets, okay?
So you've been in there your whole life. So why don't you just start with an overview of what it was? Because what are you, like 40 at this point in your life?
A little bit older than that, but I'll take that, Eric. I'm going to run with that.
Okay, so tell us what it was when you were growing up, and then tell us what you've seen,
Absolutely.
how it's progressed, and what you see now, and then we want to know what are the opportunities that you felt that had you been in real estate 20 years ago, maybe you would have taken advantage of, and
the
things
guy
of
that
that
bought
nature.
all those dumps by the water.
Right. Yeah, I should have been that guy. So I those dumps, that's exactly where I want to go first and foremost, Eric. I went to St. Peter's Prep High School, which is downtown Jersey City.
Okay.
I went to Bosco. I don't know if we can be friends.
No, it's all good. We can that I think we passed that. The rivalry remains, but so when we were young people going to high school down there was nothing but abandoned factories. I mean, literally, I was an athlete in high school, so I didn't drink or anything like that. But I loved
Sorry
all.
for your loss.
Yeah, I know. I loved all the drinkers, right? So they would always invite me out, and that's where they would go drink in the abandoned factories.
Okay.
So the growth there really started right around the time when I graduated. 20 some odd years ago, and they started building residential complexes downtown Jersey City in that area right near the waterfront. I mean, literally, it was just dump. By the time I graduated college, there were high-end buildings. I mean, Swiss Beats had what is it?
Like a headquarters.
Yeah, his studio and also a penthouse. That's what I'm just trying to say. Sorry. He had a penthouse there right downtown. And
Swiss Beats.
Swiss Beats is
You're off the
he's a famous
bro.
music producer. Are you
You're off
serious,
the
Eric?
podcast.
Okay.
And so we saw that change, and as young people just graduating college, trying to find our way, we were kind of it's like, wow, they're building stuff down here. We used to hang out down here, but now they're really building and growing. And
What year is this? Because
this is 2000. This is 2001.
Okay, just so you're using you're using your graduation, but
Absolutely, you're right.
2000, 2001.
Yeah.
But I remember this as well because around
9/11 happened.
around 2005.
Yes.
a bunch of my friends, I grew up in Manhattan, and a bunch of my friends made the exodus
And
from
moved to
Manhattan
Jersey City.
Jersey City, and they were living
Exactly.
in the
So bridge and
lofts.
tunnel.
Exactly, 100%.
They were living in the lofts and doing and
that's-
really getting great deals.
That's what we were all doing. You know, I grew up in the Greenville area, which is still up and coming, another place of opportunity. And certainly, you know, when I got out of college, I didn't expect to be paying $2,000 in rent. But it was like a source of pride because now I'm coming back to my city. All the young people are here. I'm paying high rent. So, you know, I'm in the high rent district. And it was great. And so some of these cities that you're mentioning, I think it's really instructive on what was happening 10 or 15 years ago. Then you can project out now, you see where we're at now, and it's still happening. It's still booming. There's still a lot of great opportunities. But
In these other cities you mentioned?
I think so. If you can take what I just mentioned and see those things coming, because obviously you have these big high rises now in Jersey City, all sorts of development. They're still doing the Bayfront development that's coming, which is going to be great. But you know, now that you know you're probably a little done with some of the main high rises, you still have big developments going up that are getting variances to approve 30 units, 25 units,
60 units just got
60 units, exactly. And so you see all these things still coming, even though 20 years ago, you know, you had a rental building that was like 100 units, and you're like, wow, you know, do we even have the density for this? Where does it go? It's just kept going.
Well, of course. I mean, Jersey City is going to surpass Newark as the largest city in New Jersey.
Yep.
Soon.
So I have to say something about Jersey City. I seldomly like to concede I was wrong, right? And
Oh, wait, are you going to say you were wrong?
yeah. So
Everyone watch.
in 2008, when everything collapsed, you know, I was living in Hoboken, and many people said, "Oh, Jersey City is a great place to invest," and I always said it'll be the next Hoboken. And I always said it will never, ever happen. And the reason I said that was Jersey City is too big. It is too big. Hoboken is 1 square mile. It is gentrified. You just can't go anywhere. You're limited. But Jersey City is so damn big that they just can't. People are not going to flock into Jersey City because what? You have a light rail and some shitty mall?
Yeah.
That was 08. I was a firm believer that Jersey City could never, it was a wannabe. You know, my brother had bought one of those those high rises really started in like 08.
Yep.
Big ones.
Yep.
And guys, you could pick those off for free in 08, 09.
Absolutely. There was so many incentives.
Now
there.
they're millions of dollars.
Yep.
You know, I mean, he sold it. If he kept it, it would have worth 3 times as much.
Yep.
But I truly never believed that Jersey City could be what it is today. And today it's far better than Hoboken.
Yeah.
It has better infrastructure. It's newer. It's more diverse.
So you got to give that to the city planners. So
They get it
obviously,
right.
when you're taking a big place like that, you have to corral it into specific areas. And I know you were saying that it was so big and that people wouldn't necessarily do developments that were next to each other, so it would be too hard to really fix or clean up an area. But when you make a specific zoning into a smaller pocket, it forces the developers to stay there, and that's what changes it. And then you just slowly grow out from there. They did the same thing in Hackensack, New Jersey, is they isolated specific areas, and that's what made the growth work. So I think that's something that you could look through at other cities in the country, and if they're doing similar pocketed things like that.
I'm going to say something now, and you guys can agree with me or disagree with me. I hope you disagree with me so we can argue. I don't think, and sorry, Noel, I don't think that these other cities you mentioned can be replicated to Jersey City. Jersey City has one thing that most other cities in the country do not.
Proximity to New York City.
Yes, that's where he's going.
And I totally get that. We can talk about Brooklyn. That was on my list as well.
Brooklyn's cool, but that's a bit. We're talking about being in Jersey, a different
Right.
state, and in fact, I think the commute from Jersey City is actually
It's better than
Easier
better
than
than
the one
Brooklyn.
from
Yeah.
Get it,
right?
Agreed.
So you have a population hub to draw people in from that nowhere else in the world has. You can go to, what'd you say, Boise, Idaho?
Gary, Indiana.
Okay, I was gonna say no, Idaho, but get it, Idaho.
I got you.
I'm no
Sure,
ho.
that's
But go ahead.
Not you. I didn't mean it, obviously. Sorry, that came out wrong. But anyway, none of these places have the necessary jobs or infrastructure for work that will draw people to move in and build as rapidly and expand as quickly as somewhere like Jersey City. Jersey City is drawing from not only all the suburbs of New Jersey they're coming out of school, and Jersey is the most densely populated state in the country, right? And especially North Jersey is just another level. And Jersey City is just unique. No, it can't be replicated.
I think another, I tend to agree with you that those other places could be great for growth potential, but Jersey City is unique in a lot of ways. They had certain things that were already there that just enhanced their attractiveness to others. They had 2 universities. NJCU, St. Peter's University, and St. Peter's University has one of the best business schools around. And I mean, you can get an affordable education and be a part of the town. They have 5 county parks throughout the city. It's a city, but you have diversity in how it is a city as well. So you're not just all big high-rise buildings. You can get brownstones. You can get houses that are, 50 by 150 with a big backyard. You can really kind of figure it out. So you're attracting different populations for a lot of different reasons there too.
And you have the view that Liberty State Park.
100%.
You have the view of the city.
Yeah.
When you're in the city, you don't have the view of the city. You have the view of like 32 trash bags outside the front door and some 24-year-old pissing on the wall.
We can't discount though. We can't discount
not 37-year-old.
We can't discount the fact that at the time, not only the city leadership, but the county leadership that was in place too were on board with the expanding, right?
Yeah.
So you got Mayor Fulop in there who's trying to be progressive and trying to
They
really
gave out
push
liquor
that.
licenses. They allowed people to have fun.
What? It all worked together, and it's not that these other places can't do the same thing, but do they have the requisite leadership to push those agendas forward, to see it through like that? And I think that was a big part of it too.
So did you recognize those things as you were growing up in the city, or is that stuff that you realized more recently?
I think I definitely realized it more recently as I was doing adulthood, right? So some of these lessons I could have learned from family members, parents, things of that nature, but I didn't have that access to that information and that built-in knowledge. But obviously I'm looking around, I'm trying to stay open-minded. And one of the things I did do early, right before I went to law school, was I did buy property in that boom. Luckily, I wasn't a person that had to sell because it crashed, but I did sell. But we all kind of, my peer group started to understand that it makes sense long term to be involved in this market and try to benefit from it. So, I went to school in Philadelphia, and a lot of my peers went and worked in New York. Just like that. I worked for a consulting firm in New York for a while, and then I went to law school. So you have people, like-minded people, who are talking about, how do we do this thing? How do we, bring ourselves to the next point? And people started investing. And looking forward. And then you had people who were in private equity businesses, raising money and doing larger projects. So we started to see it as we started to learn and become more adults and get involved in that type of adult work. But I wish I knew a little earlier.
Sure.
Well, look, hindsight's 20/20.
Yep, 100%.
But you mentioned something. You said you lived in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I want to use that as an example because I lived in
100%.
Philadelphia.
Oh my God.
Philadelphia is a beautiful city, has a lot of culture, and I hated it when I first got there, and I missed it when I left.
Yeah.
But there's a reason Philadelphia is a failure, right? And it's the same reason these other cities won't make it either. There is no jobs around there to fill the city. So people go there, there's jobs, there's more universities, it's more college students. You don't have the population inflow required for a rapid expansion and development like it happened in Jersey City. Jersey City has massive amounts of people coming in from the tech field, from whatever it is, and their population growth, right, is what has driven Jersey City. And that's because Jersey City's never tried to paint stripes on itself and call itself a zebra. Whereas look at Hoboken. Hoboken has changed for the worse. Hoboken changed its identity. I love the leadership there. I'm friends with the mayor. But Hoboken took this approach that they want to be family friendly. Now you can't take a city that's iconic for having the most bars per square mile and then say, well, we're going to cancel St. Patty's Day. We're going to do this because you want to change the vision of the city. Because guess what? Hoboken will never be The moment you have a couple kids, you want
You're
to be out.
out.
You move
Yeah.
to the
Right.
suburbs.
Yep.
So, to me, and respectfully to my friends, that was shit vision. It was bad planning. They wanted the city that they wanted to raise their family in, so they tried to change a city to meet what they thought was good for themselves, as opposed to, hey, this is the identity of our city. Let's cater to that identity, but make it cleaner, safer, nicer, right? Let's make it a mix. Let's not take its identity. Let's maybe develop pockets of areas with new identity. Jersey City did that. It never went in and took the identity out of an area. It just developed certain areas and welcomed all identities into that area. And that's what I like about Jersey City.
Jersey City had the space to do that, though.
That's true.
Hoboken didn't. So Hoboken is so small. I mean, it's
You think they had to pick or choose, basically?
I mean, they had the space to be like, up here near Palisades Park, or whatever.
Yep.
My friend used to live on Palisades.
That's
and
the Heights.
that's going to be
Yeah.
a certain kind of area. Down here near the
100%.
water, it's going to be a certain
Sure.
kind of area. Over near the mall, it's going to be
Journal
a certain,
Square, yeah.
Yeah, they have
Agreed.
all of those different areas. Hoboken didn't have that option.
No, I agree. So, and that's 100% right. And I'm not saying they should build skyscrapers. in
Right,
Hoboken.
right.
But if they wanted it family friendly, right, they had parks they could have cleaned up. They had areas that they did actually have areas that they're fighting for redevelopment. The further south you got off of Washington,
Yep.
They were trying to gentrify that area aggressively to get rid of the public housing.
Yep.
Right? They were areas that they could have maybe reshaped. But the fact that they attacked the fiber of what was Main
What
Street,
built it.
what was Washington Street,
Right.
They
No, they-
really attacked that fiber.
They were having success with that, and I agree with you. Why you can enhance that success, but why change it so dramatically? Because when in the 2000s, when we were young professionals, everybody wanted to live in Hoboken, and everybody did. It was either Hoboken or downtown Jersey City, and that was the bottom line.
And now Hoboken is not that sexy
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Progression that I saw at that time was you went and lived in Hoboken for a few years until you got engaged.
Yes.
And then you
And then
went
you-
and found something in Jersey City.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you got a little more space and you
Right.
can have a little
you
diversity.
have a little
in
bit more income.
Yep.
You have a 2 income, and you
So
moving.
cities are led by their voted members.
Yep.
So in theory, whoever the residents were that voted in Hoboken chose these leaders, and the leaders were in
It's a
then
whole other discussion.
putting forward what their people wanted.
Sadly, I don't think that people really get out and vote the way they should.
Probably
I
the
think
young
that's another
people of
issue.
Hoboken did not vote as much.
No,
Yeah.
because they were too busy having fun, and then
Yeah.
they're like, "Shit, no more fun."
So then you have the rest of the people that have been there growing, raising their families who voted in
And
this
guess what?
council.
Honestly, I truly believe this. I don't have any facts, but I think if you take a statistic, a lot of those people moved out anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, I have to agree with you, even though you wanted to fight.
Shit.
I completely agree with you that Jersey City is pulling off anything that's next to New York City, which is the most wonderful city in the world, the biggest, the greatest. I'm a native New Yorker, right? If it's pulling off in New York City, it has something that no other city has. But I think you can take lessons from Jersey City and apply them to other places, such as if you look at the leadership of the city and what their vision is, should you invest there? Should you be putting your money there? Things like that, taking those and sort of applying it.
And again, why leadership is so important is look at Bayonne, look at all these other cities that also abut. Look at West New York, right? Now, look, they're not the same because they don't have that direct access.
They
to the
don't.
City that Jersey
Right.
City does, right? The path, like,
Yep.
Hoboken does, but Jersey City is very unique in that context. But none of these other areas were truly able to ride that wave as well as Jersey City. Everyone said Bayonne is the next Hoboken.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
Bayonne's
not.
still a shithole.
They're not, and they're not going to
Sorry,
let it
Bayonne.
be. Yeah, no. And by the way, we love Bayonne, so just
It's not a shithole. Yeah, that's not a nice thing to say.
We have some developers on the show that are doing projects in
Look,
Bayonne.
there's still good opportunities to buy.
There
them.
are.
But Bayonne didn't turn into the next.
They still have control of the fabric of their community, basically, and they're shaping it in such a way that it's not going to be like Jersey City. It's just not. There are plenty of opportunities, but you got to fit within what they want to do there, and that's good for that town, and that works. But
Italian deli.
What about Newark? I mean, Newark is the biggest city.
We don't talk about Newark.
We love Newark too.
But I'm just saying, Newark has right now, they've been working towards the opportunity to do what Jersey City does. Do you think that they're going
Newark
to
screwed the
succeed?
pooch so many times that pooch can't have kids anymore. I mean, they have had so many.
This is a pet-friendly show.
right?
We don't screw pooches here.
They've had Yeah, it was a horrible analogy.
Yeah.
I take it back. I thought if there was very.
But they've been going through their
But
own
point is-
regentrification and resurgence,
Yeah,
and
sure.
Where
you
the
know.
money's getting dissipated,
Yes,
it's not
it is.
focused. They're not developing a certain area, then moving to the next. Like you still have the South Side, which you can't park your car there. You know, Newark has had so many opportunities, and so many times did the lights turn on, and people say, "Hey, Newark is up and coming. Let's invest," and then it just falters.
Yeah.
Right? It just falters. They make a really nice area, they develop it, then they just falter. I'll give you an example. I had a property in Newark. There was an abandoned lot next to it. Newark had a great plan that says, hey, file some paperwork and you can buy lots next to you if you want to develop it, right? They didn't get back to me for like 2 years. I sold the property at the end of the day. It was probably we had for years.
I like those programs, especially for younger investors who are trying to get their feet wet and understand the process, because you can do smaller projects. But those redevelopment opportunities were good. I think execution is always a issue, and you have to have the right professionals to see it all the way through. I'm not saying that Newark didn't. I really am not that familiar with how. I mean, you being a property owner probably know better than me. But I like what Jersey City is doing in that regard, where they're inviting younger, in terms of experience, investors in to get redevelopment projects and build. So, you know, if you're only used to doing 1 or 2 family flips, right, you're not going to a skyscraper. It wouldn't make sense, but it might make sense for you to do a 12 or 15 unit building. And Jersey City is making efforts to invite in younger, less experienced developers to do those type of things, because it keeps people that are interested in that stuff.
Keeps the energy.
Exactly. Invested in the city.
What are some of those steps that they're taking to entice younger developers or newer developers?
Right. So they have their redevelopment program. One of the things they're doing is, my own personal experience is that they're more open to bringing in people that they're strangers to, right?
Okay.
Of course, they vet them and want to know that you have the financial wherewithal and some experience to do it. But in other places where these programs exist, it's sort of a closed door, right? You kind of have to be known to people to even get on the list. But I personally have seen in 2022, 3 people who had no real prior experience in the town developing be approved as redevelopers, be assigned properties, and now are in the stages of, you know, signing RDAs and figuring out the next steps and how they do it. So
That's risky though, no?
I think it is 100%, but that's why you do the RDA. And they have great attorneys there. You know, McManaman does some of their redevelopment work. Other firms where, you know, you're going to have checkpoints built in to understand. Is this person serious? Can they do it? I mean, you have to give full financials. You have to give full resumes and experience. So it's not like anybody can just walk in the door and do it. You got to show you have a commitment to doing it.
Tell us about your projects. What have you done in Jersey City?
So mainly focused in sales. Personally, as far as development projects, when I was practicing, it was on that side. So. Some
of the projects you represented or worked on.
Sure. There's one on MLK, right at Grant Avenue. Now I'm forgetting the address, of course.
What
on the
type
podcast.
of project was it?
It was a 15-unit development with commercial. There's the project on Vroom Street, next to our colleague's project we were just talking about last week. That was an 8-unit condo development, which is a great project. What else did I work on in Jersey City?
Well, what were some of the what was there before? What did they get approved, so to
Sure.
speak? And then what were some of the challenges you faced?
And I'm glad that's a great question. In a city like Jersey City, you go to the ordinance and you look at what you can build, all right? Minimum 25 by 100 lot. You know, you have to fall into the strictures of the zoning ordinance. And you're like, well, all I can do is a 2-family house. Why would I want to get involved in that? Not true. You put a good plan together, you apply for your variance, and you can get a lot of projects approved that before weren't, even feasible at all. So the Vroom Street project, as I said, was an 8-unit condo. That wasn't zoned. That's not zoned for 8, but it was. We were able to get that done with 8 units. Right next to that. The colleague that I was talking about before did an assemblage and brought together two lots, and now he's doing 30 units over there. So and what they're doing is understanding that the demographics are changing. Yes, there's going to be more density, but they're making it make sense for the investors that want to be here, and that's important for our city. So the vacant lots, they want to see them closed up, and they want to see people come develop in them. And
You know any vacant lots that they want to see closed up on the cheap?
no, nothing's on the cheap anymore.
Asking for a friend.
Right.
I know you're asking for a friend. That's the one thing I can say. Nothing is cheap anymore, but they do take into consideration your development cost. All right. So because the market is very hot, it would. I would say, to be fair, it would be irresponsible for them to just let it go for nothing because the land is valuable, right?
Isn't Jersey City down a little bit right now?
Well,
Redfin had it down 4.3% last month for year on year.
But in what? In what types of sales?
Sales.
But
Residential home sales.
right?
Gross. I'll tell you right now. Take a screenshot.
So and
Grow
that might be true, but as you know, investors, if they can make a profit and it makes sense, they're gonna still build. They're gonna still buy. It's not just about the smaller guy who's just buying a home.
I know are up.
In
Yes.
April 2023, downtown Jersey City home prices were down 4.2% compared to last year, selling for a median price of $790K. On average, homes in downtown Jersey City sell after 48 days on the market compared to 39 days last year.
Yeah.
There were 67 homes sold in April this year, down from 101 last year.
So and you look at those numbers, right?
May, though, was up 2.4%.
Exactly.
I was gonna say that, but
So if you look at those numbers,
'cause
right?
I rolled up the 2.4%. I was like, I'm not gonna.
If you look at those numbers and compare it to what happened with the interest rates last year, they're pretty much right in line. That's really all it is. And who are you dropping out when the interest rates grow? You're dropping out the smaller person who's just buying a house for their family, right? The investors they're still in the market.
I think the opposite. I think you push out invest. No, I don't know, but I would. I don't know the answer to that. But I think
If
I
the
think a lot of
opportunity is
investors-
still big, then
cap rate changes when you raise it. Oh, you're saying for larger development?
if it goes up a point, that's not going to deter you.
Correct.
If you already have the margin there, I mean, it depends on the project.
And then once the Fed said they would see everybody is. I mean, the fear that was in the populace
keep going up.
It was crazy. But once the Fed stabilized stuff and said, hey, we're going to try to hold it steady, and now the rates are back down in the mid fives, people are right back out. You mentioned in May is 2.3% up. So I think there's always going to be an ebb and flow. But if you're talking to the right person and that person can lay out a plan for you and understand, here are the numbers, here's the market. Maybe you got so used to making 10, 12%, 13% every year that you're being a little ridiculous, right? You're being a little naive. 1 year, 2 years.
I like being greedy.
That's fair. But I don't think you're gonna stop investing just because you can only make 9.5 this year.
I would.
You would?
I would walk away from the entire town. Never look back.
I mean, you have to take him with a grain of salt, but
You all should too, so I can get back to 13%.
Right. So you can get back in. Exactly.
there's always a deal in every market.
Yep.
So it really depends on
Agreed.
what it is. But what were some of the things that you said that you got projects approved that weren't necessarily what was slated for that zoning?
Yeah.
Is that because you saw that the city was in the process of changing their zoning, or it was just a one-off? They liked the project. Well, why did
It
they
definitely
approve that?
wasn't a one-off. It was, and you can call it riding the wave, but it was just the sense that it's important that if you're going to have this continue to go and not pause, and then like some people may consider a failure, right? You have to be realistic about what's gonna get done here. And if you're not gonna let a 10-unit project get done around the corner from a 12-unit project that might be 40 years old, right? You're probably not going to be successful. So I think it was just the understanding that the boards came to that as long as it's not ridiculous, and it's within reason and you have a good plan, then we'll take it seriously.
So did the board in Jersey City, is that traditionally the same way in all the other areas that you've dealt in? Are they doing something special there to try to encourage redevelopment? And how is the city picking their board members? Are they elected or are they appointed?
No, the zoning board is appointed positions. It's not elected. No.
All appointed by the mayor.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I actually have a question. So we have a young person in the audience, and I want a perspective of a young person.
Sure.
Can we ask a question? Is Hoboken and Jersey City still cool for your age group?
Hoboken, definitely. Jersey City, I don't hear much about, but when he did mention the colleges, I feel like they would get more buzz for that.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
So she said Hoboken is still
Cool.
still
for the young
going
people.
hot, and Jersey City is more known for the colleges.
yeah. But now after hearing that,
We're just wondering what an average.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good perspective to have, though, because the development in downtown Jersey City and other places, even on the west side, with respect to entertainment, nightlife, other opportunities, retail opportunities, is tremendous.
Does that mall still suck? The one downtown?
Newport.
The mall
Yeah.
still sucks. It sucked since I was 13 years old. So that's not anything to do with the real
Does it
estate.
suck because of the quality of the tenants, or is it empty?
There's
No.
no stores there.
No, it's the quality of the tenant. It's not empty, it's full, but it's the quality of the tenants. 100%.
Well, those tenants are there. They're obviously making money. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there.
But why is the parking now $4? I'd rather just drive out the short hills and
Because
do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
obviously there's too many customers.
True.
And
all the parking is
the
taken up by
landlord is
EVs.
the landlord has
That's another problem.
the ability to charge the $4.
That's true. It's true. It's all good. But
Eric doesn't believe in charging for
I would
parking.
love. I don't either. I would love to complain about Newport Mall as many chances as I get.
No, I
Some.
believe in. I don't not believe in charging for parking. I think it's based on where you're trying to make your money. So if the money is just flowing from all directions, and you can still charge because there's such an overwhelming
Do it.
demand, then charge.
Make as much
if
as
that's
you
your
can when you
business.
can it.
Yeah,
That's fair.
But if you're having
It's not
trouble,
a socialist country. Milk it.
if you're having trouble keeping tenants in the place because they're not making money, then you can't charge for
But
parking.
here's the thing. Like you mentioned the tenants in the mall. That's why I think it's such a, you can have these conversations for days. Yes, the tenants inside the mall may not be to my desire and others,
I
but
think you said they suck.
yeah, I did say that. Outside, you got Ruth Chris, which I like. And
sucks,
plenty
though.
of people like. It may suck to you, but I think it's a good brand to have there in a town that's trying to establish itself a certain way. You have the hotel right next to it. These are long established restaurants that haven't gone anywhere, even in downturns. That are
Oh, that's the
still
one
there.
around the corner, right?
Right, exactly.
There's a bar at the bottom of
Yes.
that restaurant. It's actually pretty popular. It's a sports
Exactly.
bar.
So there are things like that where, the retail itself, if you're looking at it, you probably have to parse it up and look at different categories of retail, because the restaurants there and stuff, I don't know what they're making, but they're there, they're thriving.
Is that
They haven't
Cuban
closed
restaurant
down.
still there?
Yes, exactly.
That place is dope.
So maybe the expanding parts of Jersey City will make room for other retail sections, or maybe they'll try to do some open air sections.
Well,
Maybe
I always felt that's what was lacking. Like, you go to LA, Cali, you have these fun outdoor malls, good shopping
Yes.
centers. I think that's what's lacking in Jersey City.
And we got to get the state's cooperation, obviously, but Liberty State Park should be for the people of Jersey City. It is so dynamic. It can be even more dynamic. And again, one of the reasons Jersey City is a great place.
Why do you think it's not?
I think that when there's the political will, then too much time passes before we get everything done, and then there's another political agenda.
Oh, you're saying it's not owned by the city; it's owned by the state.
Correct. We have to.
And
We
it should
have
be
to have
passed
the
to the
state
city
on
so they can
board
control it.
so that we can get everything
Understood.
done. So we got SciTech City coming there. That's going to be an amazing project and an amazing academic center for our community. So that's going to bring a lot of people here to say, okay, I have a place where I can trust that my young person could go thrive, STEM education based. So, wow, look at what this area can do for me and my family. And so, but you can do more with that part. I'm not saying overdo it, but like you mentioned, outdoor opportunities, that is the place. And even when it was much more of a dump, that was like a treat for us growing up in Jersey City to go down
Views
there.
are awesome,
Exactly.
yeah.
So I
kind of
just
feel like you're on vacation when you're
yeah,
done.
exactly, 100%.
Something
I still go there to play soccer. It's nice.
Something else that I like that Jersey City did is it has a special improvement district for each area
Absolutely.
of Jersey City.
Yes,
Like
it
my
does.
background is in special improvement districts, and they have 6 different ones. And if you don't know what a special improvement district is, look it up. Sometimes it's called a business improvement district, but basically it's an organization to spur economy, to get feet to the street, to clean things up, to make the life good for the people and businesses there. And they did a really good job at developing one for every area and actually making them very active.
Is that like the Main Street Business Alliance?
It
It
is
is,
like the
yeah.
Main Street Business Alliance.
And they focus on a specific area, as Noel said, and their mission statement is to improve that one area.
Correct.
And
Could be
Exchange Place has one, downtown Jersey City, which is a big part of why that's been developed so well, in my opinion.
And it doesn't always have the same agenda that the council has.
Correct.
So because it's made up of the business members in that district. So you're getting real boots on the ground as to what should or shouldn't happen there.
So let me ask you a question. You've been so ingrained in Jersey City for such a long time.
Sure.
You probably have a lot of connections with, right? So you can get deals like someone's dying, scoop it up. You have access to this stuff.
Do people die in Jersey City?
I
And do you scoop it up right afterwards?
I would like to rephrase that or say it in a different way. But, absolutely. In any business, especially sales, any sales business, you always have to work your network, right? I'm
here to help you if you ever need to work your done.
I think I need to work with you. But, even Roberto and I did a deal a couple years ago. He had a relationship. And this woman, her sister was passing away, and was in hospice.
Let's say no one's saying bad.
But her sister was thinking forward. And Roberto came to me and said, "Hey,
let's scoop this up on the cheap."
No, that's not what happened. But he said, "There's this deal. Your relationship. Do you have someone? That? I mean, I think we did the deal in a week. So." Yes, I have the relationships that we can make stuff happen.
I'm ready to do those deals.
Okay,
Especially if they got a week left.
So back to growth opportunities. What were, let's say, one of the biggest growth opportunities that you missed out on that you recognized back
Being
then?
on a podcast sooner.
That you would have caught and wish you caught?
I think I wish I caught the Bergen Lafayette development because at the end of the day, there are a lot of rehabs that have been done in that area, and they've been great, right? But what eventually came there, some of the larger ones, are amazing. And had I really been paying attention to the fact that they were going to do the park down there on Garfield Avenue, and they have such a great development team on the Morris Canal redevelopment area and the like, I think that's what I really would have caught on to. Because even at the time, I just didn't know the relationships that I had access to on a one-off basis. Some of the bigger real estate players that are in town that own a lot of land, I know them now, but I wish I knew them in 2010.
Sure.
Right, 2011.
Would you say that water played a part in success? Like you were talking about the Morris Canal, like Jersey City has a lot of different water type connections.
Yeah.
Is that where a lot of the development is happening, or is it more based on where the path stations are? What would you say?
So two things. The path stations are important. Also, the stuff that the DOT is trying to do in expanding the light rail and other transportation bases, I think are very important. But I think you're 100% right, because for a long time, people didn't see some of the waterways as viable opportunities just because of the issues that you have in developing near waterways and the like. And I think it took the courage of the developers to say, I'm going to take the added risk that comes with trying to develop near a place that also Jersey City had a history of contamination, and many of them were near those waterways. So you had to deal with those issues first in order to really get going in an earnest way.
Thank you. That's very informative.
I think this is great, Markis. You have to come back.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to.
And we have to talk about a ton of different other things. Give us some ideas, because you're amazing.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Eric, we're
Can I get that on tape? I got to show my wife that clip right there.
Well, we've known you're amazing for a while.
This is a recorded podcast, yeah. So she will get the opportunity to see that unsolicited comment.
Right?
Yeah.
But thank you. And
Subscribe. How do you
guys,
forget to ask for that?
You know to subscribe.
And if you don't know, now you know.
And you're just going to mash that button, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, subscribe, and you're going to find out more, hear about more things like what Markis is talking about. We always have great people on.
There you go. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you visualize it, you can own it. See you next time.
Thanks.
And if any of you need to sell quick,